Hello, beautiful friends. Let's accelerate our evolution like never before. This is an amazing day. All this light is here. I'm just so excited to be doing this work with you and to see how we are incredibly supported. I was just finishing Qigong outside and I was doing the iron shirt Qigong. It takes about an hour and you activate your physical body to be able to receive the light from the really central spiritual sun. And I had this idea that I would call actually Thaddeus. And I thought, Thaddeus, will you be able to be on this call with us? I've never called upon you. And I had my eyes closed as I was doing Qigong. And suddenly this big ball of light came from my right side. And so I just smiled and I said, thank you for being here today as we listen to Orange Transmissions. And as you know, it's always Orin transmitting, but the music, the beautiful music in the background, or maybe not so much in the background, is the music of Thaddeus, this incredible, fiery, angelic being of great love and power. So you can imagine, you just ask these days and it is given. And, to me, this is just so amazing. So today, we're going to do an activation of our physicality so that we are those superhuman beings reaching our highest potential every single day. This call, I'm recording all these calls. I started to put them actually on YouTube as unlisted. That means only you with the link, of course, have access to it. And that's because these files are so big. And so it's easier to keep them somewhere where they don't get deleted eventually. Because if you keep them in the Zoom, eventually you'll have to delete them because the account will be too full. So this will be another way of doing it. So this one will be really the process of activating yourself. I've always been wondering since I was a child about what is the highest potential of us as a human being, of course, asking these questions because they are important. It surely is not to be that ordinary person that you see here in the world. And I mean, I look around, I met enough people in this lifetime. Sometimes you meet people who are incredibly, we would call it intellectual. I don't even call it intelligent, and they are so narrow-minded. They are not superhumans in any way, but they have their PhDs and who knows what, but so not in their highest potential of what it truly means to be a truly, fully activated divine human being, which is the potential we are here accelerating to. So we do have a physical body at the moment. As I mentioned, it was a misconception to call us body, mind, and spirit because we truly are number one spirit that created the soul. And then through the light of spirit and soul, we are here in matter, which is our physicality. We didn't used to have these bodies the way that we have them now. Right now, we are pretty much a mammal, if you thought about it. This primate story that was given to us, that's actually the fallen design of the human body. We were never meant to be mammals. And in these, like people say we developed from monkeys. That's not our true story at all. We originally were actually luminous beings who had light bodies. Even the story of Adam and Eve, and as you know, all the stories, they always have hidden meaning behind them, esoteric knowledge. And so the story, when you think about it, it also tells us Adam and Eve use, and of course, it's just all stories, had light bodies. And through the fall, they suddenly were in bodies where they experience what we call today this mammal, this physical body, a little bit of an animal, really. And so, of course, it's all genetic and how our DNA has fallen into this state of density, but that's okay. We still have spirit available to us. We still have, of course, our soul available to us. And now is the time to restore our full-blown highest potential, which is spirit, soul, and matter, connected by the pillar of light, and no longer having any unconsciousness within us, which is the dust, which is the dirt, which is, that life force, which is so unconscious, which is just simply blocking the light of the spirit. The structure that we call the pillar of light got broken. It was broken. So, we cannot really say that it was so easy to restore it. It wasn't. But now, since 2020, the structure is again fully available to us. And all it takes is daily using the structure. I compare it to a treasure box. Massive treasure within the treasure box. But you know what treasure boxes require? That we open them. And so here we are opening the treasure box, and that means every day look within. Look what is inside of us. You know, the kingdom of heaven is within you. What does it mean? It means we have a pillar of light, and this pillar of light is connecting us through the body into the soul plane, through the soul plane into the spirit, our divine self, the I am presence. This has to work magic in our life. If something is still out of balance, that's okay because we know the tools. Finally, it is not our purpose to have disharmony, out of balance situations, some kind of suffering and pain in this world. That is not at all our destiny. Our destiny is to be a pure channel for your own spirit self through your soul self. But the number one, the most important, is of course the big boss. And the big boss is the spirit, the divine self. And so every day, I am here not to seek anything on the outside. I am only here to look within, make sure it's all working. If it's working, great, then I go about my day. And that's what we're going to do here today. So in these bodies that are still made of matter, now we are in a much better state than we have ever been in since 2020. We are constantly releasing these really distorted genetic patterns that were inside of us. We are releasing a lot of darkness and dirt from the physicality. And some people really just focus on the body. They do a lot of detoxes, they constantly purify the body, but that's not going to lead to self-realization. That is just one little aspect of it, having a clean vessel. It's not even the most important aspect of self-realization at all. But it is, for us mystics, a little bit different than purification. It is more about the purification of our channels. Purification of our channels. So we have a lot of techniques in this world. We have a lot of things that we could be doing, and some people have great results. But it is not in the technique itself. It is in how it is done. For example, when you in the morning want to connect with the great heavenly spirit, it doesn't take a big prayer. It doesn't take a lot of anything. It just takes your massive love, your incredible focus, your depth, your authentic love for the great heavenly spirit. And then you go outside, look at the sky and say, I love you. And that alone is better than millions of prayers that are not centered in this incredible consciousness, which is so full of love. So the techniques, some people like to fast. Some people have great results. Some people fast, nothing happens except maybe the body purifies a little bit. Again, it's not the technique itself at all. It's how it is done from within, the love behind it, the fullness behind it, the consciousness, the yearning, the authenticity. It is truly even just, it doesn't have to be on the outside. It can just be internal. It is all about this feeling of unity with the Great Spirit, being one with, feeling your divine confidence as truly a child of the Great Spirit, not disconnected, but massively connected, incredibly loved. So I will take you through the practices that I believe activate our superhuman potential. Every day, we want to pay attention to our posture. Within our physical body are many energetic channels, subtle channels, and they simply need to be available to channel the light of the spirit. The light of the spirit, as you know, channels through the top. It's a top structure. It's like there is a tower within us that is invisible to many, but that top floor of the tower is the most luminous. And that is your spirit self, your divine self, your I am, coming down through the spinal column that is actually first celestial, then astral, and then physical. It comes down through these different levels of your own multidimensional spine. And so having a good posture is a very good idea. The way we sit, the way we walk, the way we meditate, the way we sleep. It is about allowing the best beneficial flow. So paying attention to body posture. That's just so that the physicality that we have right now can truly be a 100% available vessel for the spirit. It does work this way. That's why we do have yoga. That's why we do have Qigong. I don't know any other practices, and I actually don't do any other practices. I do a little bit of yoga just to stretch myself, nothing crazy. Maybe, 15 minutes a day, just making sure that I can bend forward. That's really my intention here with yoga, opening the hips and making sure that I'm still flexible and that my spine is flexible. So that's just, the basics. Focusing on the third eye. Every time you meditate, every time you go to bed, every time you close your eyes, every time you want to see into the ethers, what's really going on, closing your physical eyes, but lifting your gaze into the middle point again and again and again. If you have a question for the creator, if you have a question for Yogananda, sit down, nice posture, breath, which is the other aspect of all of this, which we will get to. Focusing on the third eye and simply gazing in the most relaxed way. It's all about deep relaxation. If there is tension, it might not work. Deep relaxation, that's why we want to practice deep physical relaxation. And then magic, of course, happens, but this is not the focus of what we do here. But we want to do a little bit of activation with breath. I only do 2 different breathing techniques every single day. I always do my breathing and all of this in the morning, because the morning is the beginning of your solar day. There's a new beginning, so I want to show up fully open to the new so that it can flow in. And then you just go about your day, of course. And so the first breathing technique that I recommend doing, this is kind of funny, the video here, but it is the ocean breath. It is the Ujjayi breath. Ujjayi breath is the breath that also is used really in Kriya Yoga, and that means breathing through the spine and making a little bit of a louder breath. It is also used in Qigong that sounds like the ocean, and so it's just a little bit more audible. What about this breath is so powerful? When you do these breathing techniques, you are actually achieving higher states of consciousness. You are expanding your subtle bodies. You are moving through the layers of the onion that we are. And so combining these techniques step by step by step is what really gives us the highest potential of who we are, the superhuman divine self that we are. And so today we will do all of these techniques together. So let's start by assuming the perfect posture. For this one, I would definitely want to be sitting up. You can also do it standing up. Both is fine. And here are the instructions and the breath itself.
Welcome to today's breathing exercise. This is the Ocean Sound Breathwork Pranayama. This breathwork should sound like the ocean, a calm, relaxing sound, which helps act as an anchor for our busy mind. This is a great form of meditation and relaxation. It can be helpful for thyroid problems, snoring and sleep apnea. Okay, I'm just going to explain how this exercise works. Imagine holding up a mirror to your mouth, and what we want to do is we want to blow fog onto that mirror. So we take a breath in through the nose and then blow that fog onto the mirror. Imagine the mirror's just in front of you. And that sound that we make, that is the throat muscles being used. So let's just try that again. In through the nose. And let's blow that fog onto the mirror. Now for beginners, that might be enough. As we go through this exercise, all you'd need to do is go in through the nose and blow the fog out onto the mirror. However, the way the exercise is designed, and where we'd want you to get to, is actually having the mouth closed. But what we would do is we would contract the same muscles in the throat. So if we just do it one more time through the nose and blowing the fog onto the mirror, just pay attention to where those muscles are contracting in the throat to make the noise. And that's what we want to do with the mouth closed. So we'll go and do a couple of rounds of this now, but with the mouth closed. If it's too difficult, don't worry. Open the mouth and blow the fog onto the mirror. It's a fantastic way to start the exercise. The other thing you should know is that when you're breathing in through the nose, you also want to contract the same throat muscles. So you create that ocean sound in and out. And it's always with the mouth closed. But as I said, as a beginner, if you want the mouth open to do the fog on the glass, perfectly acceptable. I'm going to do a few rounds. Okay, hope you're sitting comfortably. Let's begin. Slowly breathing in through the nose. And then breathe out through the nose. Slowly breathing in through the nose. And then breathe out through the nose. Slowly breathing in through the nose. And then breathe out through the nose. Slowly breathing in through the nose. And then breathe out through the nose.
Wonderful. So this was just a little bit of our Ujjayi breath, ocean breath. When we do Ujjayi breath, the ocean breath, it really helps us to move energy. The way that you want to maximize what you do when you do Ujjayi breath, of course, again, how we do things really matters, is breathing this breath through the spine, pulling the energy up, and then letting the energy go down. Focusing on the third eye. So I was focusing on my third eye, doing the breath through the spine, and I saw two massive kind of like explosions of light, and one of them was red light, which I don't often see. So I just want to say, when you do these things, you will see a lot of different things in your third eye. The other breath that I highly recommend is actually called the breath of fire. The breath of fire is a little bit different in the Kundalini yoga than it is, for example, in Taoism, but the Taoists use it too, to get the fire within your being burning. Fire is the spirit, the heavenly spirit that is represented by the grand central sun, by the central spiritual sun. That is the fire of God, Ishvara. This is the fire that we want to ignite within us. In Taoism, for example, this breath is used to completely rejuvenate your entire being, physically and non-physically. We're going to be using the Kundalini breath, for example, here with the video with Gurumukh. You can find it on YouTube or on Gaia. Now, it is recommended that people who have some, for example, high blood pressure, don't do the breath of fire. So do it if you are comfortable with it. Don't do it if you know this would not be good for you. So just watch it. And so I'm going to fast forward it to where they start doing the breath of fire just for a few moments. Oh, sorry, the video is unavailable. Doesn't matter. But the breath of fire. Okay. The breath of fire, if you know the breath of fire, for example, in Taoism, you put a hand on your stomach, your solar plexus, and you take very fast, vigorous breath through the nose only. It doesn't lead to hyperventilation. And so I'm going to just demonstrate what that would look like. And for those of you who already know the breath of fire, it is vigorous, fast breathing through the nose and moving actually your solar plexus.
And bring it all the way up, face forward, and let the arms fly high, like the biggest wings that you've ever felt or ever seen. Take the fingers, press them on the mouths, and pull the thumbs away from your fingers. We're going to do what we call the breath of fire. It's the most powerful breath given to us as human beings. It can clean and heal and energize and bring a radiance and health and beauty to you in as little as 1 minute. If you open your mouth, stick your tongue out, and begin to pant like a dog. This is how we learn breath of fire. From your belly, deep from your belly. Come on, get the tongue out and really pant. That's it. Now take it a little more aggressive, a little bigger, a little louder, a little more powerful. Pull those thumbs away from your fingers. Now close your mouth with that same breath through the nose. Good. Keep it going a little bit more. Moving the energy through your body. And inhale, hold it there.
And you can just exhale. We will continue so that was the activating breath of fire. The breath of fire is actually something that massages our spine. And as we massage our spine, we get even more activated to be able to actually receive the voltage into the spine, this divine energy. So, these practices truly are step by step how to activate the divine highest potential within us as we are matter, soul, and spirit. All of it. Self-realization, even with Yogananda, of course, required that we do our pranayama through the spine, that we do some movement, that we do stretch. And so all of it together creates the wholeness of our being. That's pretty amazing. The next one would be divine movement. Divine movement is not just walking. Walking is wonderful. We should absolutely walk in nature, which is another thing we always should do, spending as much time in nature as possible. But divine movement is a movement that activates these really sacred portals within us and our energy field. We have subtle bodies, and many people, of course, don't see their own subtle bodies or their energy. They don't feel even life force, really. And so these divine movements allow us to get really sensitive to our subtle bodies and also to be able to move energy in the field so that we have results. I just read some study, and this was about what movement is the most healing that was found for people who really have some physical illness. And it was Qigong. And why is it? How can Qigong be so healing? It's not about just moving your arms and legs. It actually is about working with those fields, working with these energetic portals, opening them up. And so we will do a little bit of opening up of these energetic portals. For this, we will stand up. We will do 7 minutes of this. Hopefully this video will work here.
There's an idea in Qigong that we need to pierce the veil that keeps us clouded in illusion. Now, what is
so we'll
on the heart center? When you stimulate them, it helps to clear stress. And when we're out of stress, our intuition is greatly enhanced. Take a nice deep breath. Inhale through your nose. Exhale out through the mouth. Just do that again. Nice deep breath. Now, right here around your lower back, let's just tap up and down these points around the low back, the kidney area. There's lots of good pressure points here for more energy and vitality, just going up and down the lower spine. This is a great exercise if you've been sitting too long and just need to wake up your body's energy. Relax. Good, and then palms face up, do a little shaking, just shake it out. Inhale through your nose and exhale out through the mouth. Just letting go of any stress, tension, or tightness that you might have accumulated today. And bring your hands down to your sides. Now, the piercing the veil movements, we're going to start with the hands, palms face up at your hips, knees slightly bent. And what I want you to do is take your left hand, so I'll do your mirror image, take your left hand and spiral out and rotate all the way through, so you create a spiral in your arm, and then come back. It's almost like this drilling motion where you spiral through, activate the tendons, and then come back. So we'll go like this. Exhale. Reach through. And try to extend your shoulder blade. And then spiral back. And same thing with the other arm. Spiral through, extend from your shoulder blade. Reach through the tendons and ligaments. This is going to be a very powerful way to activate the tendons. So we go out and spiral, reach through, extend from your shoulder blade. You feel a nice stretch, and then come back. Same thing with the right arm. Reach through. And then we'll be doing this movement in different directions and in different ways. So try this. Take your left hand and spiral across your body over to the right. And extend from your shoulder blade. And then come back to the center. And same thing. Right hand, extend over to the left side and spiral. And you'll feel how this works your whole body. It seems simple, but you're going to get a great full body workout with this piercing the veil, this coiling Qigong set. Remember, nature moves in spirals. Just look at the way a tree grows. The branches don't grow straight, nor do the roots. They spiral, they curve, and they flow. Everything in nature moves in a spiral, from a wave in the ocean to a seashell, to the trees, and even your DNA. So extend and spiral, activate the tendons and the ligaments. And then we come back to the center. Now, what I want you to imagine is that as you've spiraled through.
So again, we just do a little bit, and you can find this on YouTube. This is Piercing the Veil of Illusion. This is with Lee Holden, and he did an entire workshop on piercing the veil, and it was all about spirals. And so that is our divine movement. Why is this so effective? Why is this so magical? You know, it is really the science of Divine Mother. To me, Qigong is what Divine Mother gave us originally as we stepped upon this earth in our much more subtle bodies. It was about how to move upon the earth, how to live like this all day long, how to never be an ordinary person, which was never part of the original design, how to always work with energy, how to be masters of energy with every step and every breath. When we didn't have this physicality that we have today, we did have light body organs. So like when you open the engine of a car, you see so many different things and they all have different function. So we too had those light body organs to process cosmic and planetary energy. And so even at that level, we did have the ability to use breath, even though it was not about keeping us alive. It was about receiving prana, receiving life force. So just to respond to one comment here in the chat about hormones and hot flashes. So as we go through the ascension process, we are changing our hormones. We are changing how this physical body works, men and women. We are changing our DNA. We are changing the old human body into this new light body. A lot of things will change. That includes our sexuality. So whatever was the status quo in the past might not be that as we move forward. So there will be a lot of hormonal changes for women, for men, both of them. And also the way that, of course, that is reflected in our sexuality that is driven by hormones. And so just accept these changes. The hot flashes will be happening to women and men because we are receiving massive amount of light that might not be so visible to us except for our physical sun from the great spiritual sun. We have many great spiritual suns. And so all of these are emanating to us, and we will be actually attuning to that too. Another process that I think is essential to our self-realization and activation of our highest human potential every day is breathing through the spine. And breathing through the spine is really what allows us focusing on the third eye, of course, the ocean breath that we did. It allows us to go up all the way to spirit through the multidimensional spine. The multidimensional spine, I got to see my own multidimensional spine many times. And so then when you see it, of course, you know that that's how it works, but most of us don't see it. And so we just, have to do it until we see it. But there is so much more available to us if we are able to just make this like a very practical pathway through which spirit can reach us, our divine self with all the emanation of the light. And then every time, let's say the typical human mind is so, it's part of the prison that we have been living in. It was working through the human mind. It was making us so distorted. And some of the things like not having self-love, trying to find self-love, it is all just in the lower human mind. The higher mind, which is the mind of the spirit of the divine self, is completely different. It doesn't even think about things. So the divine mind is not a thinker. The divine mind is all things all at once, completely united with the mind of God, and it contains all that is, ever will be, and has been, but it doesn't think about things. It just is. And if something is, for example, like let's say that we are here struggling, we are trying to figure things out, that is not using the divine mind. The divine mind is the solution to all things, and it already is the solution. It is the Alpha and Omega. It already is the beginning and the end, nothing in between. It doesn't need to be figured out, it just is. And so when we go to the Alpha and Omega, our own divine self, we find that the solution to everything already exists, and we simply need to bring it down through the breath, through the pillar of light. So that would be the next important technique. We do this when we do Kriya Yoga with Yogananda. We do pranayama through the spine, but also, no sound. Do we have sound now? Okay, sound is good. Okay, wonderful. Thank you, thank you. So, like I want everyone to know it's simple. It doesn't take much, but it has to be done. We cannot just ignore one part of our being, say, I'm not going to do breathing techniques. Well, then you're missing out. You don't want to miss out. If you say, I'm not going to do my OMs, you're missing out massively. I talked about OM yesterday on the call in the evening. OM is like the antivirus to the virus. So if there is a virus in this world, it is the virus of the mind, then the antivirus is OM. So we don't want to miss out. And some people say, I don't want to move. I don't want to do any movement. I don't want to do divine movement. Do 5 minutes a day. Don't, and it will grow upon you, the more you do, the better it gets. And then it's so great. You'd never want to do less. You just want to do more because it's so amazing. And so you don't want to miss out on the opportunity. And the next thing, of course, would be, and today, I don't know if we have time to do all of it, but let's do all of it, let's do all of it. It will be recorded and you can go back to it. So the microcosmic orbit, in a way, is the same thing like the inner engineering of Sadhguru, Kriya Yoga of Yogananda to some extent, similar idea, but microcosmic orbit, as it was taught by Mantak Chia originally, is really an incredibly healing spiritual technique. And healing, I mean, it can heal the body, mind, and spirit. But actually, well, the spirit doesn't need healing, but what needs healing is the human so that it can receive the spirit. And so it allows us to receive the spirit through the spine. So we're going to do this beautiful transmission here with Lee Holden. Just stay sitting upright. Unless you want to stand up, that's totally fine. Whatever you wish to do.
The microcosmic orbit has been a practice that's been held in secrecy since time antiquity. The Taoists use it to connect to their inner light and empowerment from within, to access divine wisdom. The martial artists use it to access inner power for strength and vitality and physical prowess. We can use it to empower ourselves to boost our internal energy. You see, when you circulate the orbit within yourself, you're doing something inside your body that's happening within the universe. As above, so below. As is the macrocosm, as is the universal energy, so is the microcosm, our internal energy. So I want to show you a couple of practices that activate the microcosmic orbit within yourself. First one is a warm-up. We're going to take a stance that's about shoulder width, your hands by your shoulders, knees slightly bent, and we're going to do spinal cord breathing. We're going to open the chest and look up, and then round the back, tuck your tailbone under. Your chin comes down towards your chest. You're going to inhale as you open the chest and exhale round the back. Now feel your spine as you do this. We want to activate the cranial sacral pumps to move the energy in the back meridian, the energy pathway through the spine. Now to do this, we're going to activate some pumps, the sacral pump. When you round the back, squeeze your buttocks, squeeze all the muscles here to activate the sacrum, and this will help the energy to move into your spine. And when you open the chest here, we're activating the front channel, the front meridian of the microcosmic orbit. So we're warming up these pathways as you do spinal cord breathing. Inhale, open the chest, feel your heart center open. Exhale, round the back, squeeze the buttocks to open the sacrum. And inhale and exhale. Just warming up the spine, feeling this front channel of the body. Microcosmic orbit is a circular pathway, often called the small heavenly circle. If we look out into the universe, we see that the universe is in orbits all over. We have planets orbiting the sun, galaxies orbiting other galaxies. Everything is cyclical and spiraling. So what we're doing here is activating the channels, the energy pathways through the back of the body and through the front of the body to create this orbit. Now relax. Now you've warmed up your spine, you've opened the front of the body. The orbit goes up the spine to the top of the head. From the top of the head, it's going to come down through the front channel of the body. And this is a special pathway and a special way of circulating energy within yourself to create harmony and balance. The benefits of the orbit is increased energy because you're recycling energy, it stays contained within you. Your body's doing energetically what the universe is doing, so we tune in to divine wisdom. Now here, this is called turning the wheel. I want you to hold your hands so that the palms are facing towards each other. And your hands are just going to coax the energy through the microcosmic orbit. I want you to pull the hands back, and you're going to feel the spine. And you're going to lift energy up through the back to the head. Move the hands forward. When you move the hands forward, this represents energy coming to the forehead. When the hands come down, energy is at the throat, heart, solar plexus, belly. Pelvic floor, you push all the way to the bottom of the pelvis and then come up through the sacrum, spine, head. Move the energy forward to the mid-eye, down this front channel. So you're moving the energy in a water wheel inside your body, and the hands are just helping to coax the energy through. The breath, you're going to inhale as you come up and exhale as you come down. A couple of little internal energetic techniques. Keep the tip of the tongue on the roof of your mouth. That is like connecting the circuits of yin and yang within yourself. And then when your energy is coming up the spine, very lightly, you can squeeze the pelvic floor. You just inhale and squeeze the pelvic floor. Energy rises. Tip of the tongue on the roof of the mouth. Energy descends. You just keep the tip of the tongue there. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the nose. And now you are doing the microcosmic orbit. You're turning energy within your body. What's important to remember is that this microcosmic orbit is already within you and circulating. In the same way, your heart continues to beat. Your energy is always moving. But we can improve circulation through exercise, and you can improve energetic circulation through Qigong. And that's what we're doing here. We're improving our energetic circulation by consciously moving chi, the life force energy, through these very specific channels. And when the energy rises, it helps to illuminate your mind. And when the energy descends, it helps to calm and balance your emotions. And you're harmonizing yin and yang energy through this circular movement. Inhale as you come up, bring energy to the head. Exhale as you come down, bring energy through the body. If you look out in nature, this is what's happening all the time. The water evaporates from the oceans, the rivers and the lakes, rises up to form clouds. The clouds rain the water back down. And when water circulates like this, it stays healthy and fresh and connected. And the same is true with your internal energy. Circulate the energy. Move it through this water wheel. Irrigate all the channels in your body for health and vitality, for emotional balance and clarity of mind. Do this just a few more times. Exhale as you come down, nice and slow. Inhale as you come up. Bring the hands down and just feel your chi in your hands.
Wonderful. So this was such an incredibly powerful technique. You know, all these techniques, if they are done internally correctly, meaning with your full knowing, your full focus, your full confidence, moving the energy, then all these will make a huge difference. One of the skills that also, you know, helps us to achieve our highest potential, the superhuman potential, is to use our imagination and visualization every day. And we will speak about this more tomorrow, because this is the key. How to dissolve the old mind, how to step into the divine mind. So tomorrow, imagination, visualization, and the mind, that's what we will talk about. Because it's the time to let go of the dysfunction within the old mind. Now it's the time to constantly imagine and visualize and bring that down from the spirit into this world. And so here we are now in the world that finally since 1111 has aligned with the grand central sun. And so we have new light coming to us. This light is moving through the galaxy right now. I wanted to show you a picture here of our galaxy. So the central sun at the center of the galaxy, the center sun at the center of the universe, the central sun at the center of cosmos are now communicating with each other, communicating with our physical sun. And our physical sun is transmitting to us these unbelievable codes of consciousness, expanding us once again like never before. This wave, it is moving from the center of the galaxy. So you see the galaxy 2 has the vortex coming in and the vortex coming from above, just like the tree of life within us. It's all the same design. And this wave you see is coming through our galaxy, through all the arms of the galaxy, all the way to us here. So that's what's causing these big changes. That's what's causing the fire to be so strong within us. We are being transformed by the living fire of God. Now there is a mantra of cosmic origin, not a Hindu mantra. We call the mantra Gayatri mantra. So many people would say, oh, but that's of course Hindu, it was in the Vedas, but this is a cosmic mantra. It came from the sound of cosmos. And this mantra is actually kind of like a worship of the grand central sun. So this is the time for all of us to remember that not only do divine movement, but we every day want to use our voice to utter divine sounds. And this would be the most divine sounds we can now every day speak into the ether, because it is in the ether where these divine sounds are making the difference. This is really going to be, moving forward, I would say, one of the most important mantras to speak. Just a few times a day, doesn't have to repeat 108 times at all, just whenever you feel like it. I don't do 108 repetitions of anything. I just do as much as I feel like it. That's really important. And so we will do a little bit of Gayatri mantra. So by the mystics, this Gayatri mantra has been translated as Om in all three worlds, terrestrial, astral, and celestial. May we meditate upon the splendor of that divine sun. So the divine sun. who illuminates all. Really, you would say that the divine sun is the embodiment of what we would call God, the creator. May its golden light nourish our understanding and guide us on our journey to its sacred seat, the throne of the creator, Om. And so let us just utter the mantra a few times. There is a version I really like. I'm going to play that one. It's by Brenda McMorrow.
Om Bhurvuvasvaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat.
Om Bhurvuvasvaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat.
Om Bhurvuvasvaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat.
This version is by Brenda McMorrow and Jacob Wise, I guess that's what it is. Thank you, Stephanie, for posting it in. I have it in iMusic, so that's where you would find it. So every day, just a few times, every morning, just go through these practices. You know, no matter how long you want to do it, don't do it. Just do whatever you can do to do breath, movement, Om, this mantra. And that's basically what it is. And so now is, of course, the next thing would be spending as much time as you can in nature. As much time as you can in nature, connecting and absorbing with divine essence. And then, of course, the final step, which we'll do now, is meditation. And so our meditation today will be amazing. This is going to be working with one of the, holy ones that emanate divine will to humanity. We will be strengthening our initiating will. It's beautiful. And just getting this transmission from, we have worked in the past with the Big Dipper. We will do that again. Receiving all divine will from the 7 holy Kumaras, from the 7 solar rishis. And so let's take a little bathroom break before we start meditating. And then the second meditation will be number 6. We are halfway through, and that's releasing all limitations. It's time for joy. It's time for power, for strength, and all of the good things. Wowza, I think all the things that took place. I've never seen so much light in this room here. I'm sure you had the same experience, all the miracles that are happening here through us, as we are co-creating this incredible collective cup of consciousness. Wow. Ho, ho, ho. That was marvelous. So thank you for making this possible. The transformation, of course, are happening. I saw someone sharing in the chat that they had incredible celestial activation, of course. Yes, all of it. It's all happening. And so, the pillar of light is the key. Yes. And did you find, for example, that the quality of your meditation today was different because we did the movement, we did the breath? I found, and the mantra, yeah, me too, absolutely. I noticed such a huge difference. Yes, wonderful, wonderful. I thought you would notice it too. It went so much more deeper, and the visibility was so exceptional too while looking through the third eye. So definitely, when we have the time, it's just so wonderful to do it. We will repeat the same process today at 5 p.m. Pacific. And yesterday I mentioned, how all the great truth, the cosmic truth, is always hidden in stories that seem completely simple, and people repeat the stories as if there was no, really deep, deep truth within the story. And one of them, of course, is the story of Santa Claus. And so the story of bringing presents at Christmas through the chimney, what is it? The chimney is the pillar of light. The pillar of light that runs through us and connects us all the way to the what we would call Santa Claus, the spirit, the one that has all the solutions, all the answers, that is infinite, eternal, and has all the gifts for us, and comes down through the chimney, the pillar of light, to bless this human being down here with all the gifts of spirit. And of course, this alignment in the past only happened on the solstice. Hence, the story was aligned with the winter solstice. Here in the Northern Hemisphere, we call it Christmas. And that would be that during the solstice in the past, that was the only time when the earth was in alignment. When we had, the broken structure, it actually was kind of repaired and available during the solstice. And so Santa was able to deliver the gifts, which means spirit was able to connect with the human being, and the human being was able to experience the state of ascension. And so thank you so much for being here and co-creating these miraculous blessings. What we received today was miraculous. So thank you so much. Bye-bye.